I'm Ashley Jackman, and I'm doing the video testimonial for our addictions class. And today I have my mom with me. Her brother has suffered with addiction, so I thought that she would be a good person to use for this video. Do I have your permission to use you in this video?
You do have my permission.
All right. Okay, so do you want to start off explaining a bit about what your experience was like with your brother and stuff like that?
My brother dealt with alcohol addiction that, unbeknownst to our family, had actually began when he was a very young teenager, and nobody knew about that. And for all of the duration of his 20s and into a good portion of his 30s, he was able to function, run a successful business, build a home, had children, and somehow was able to maintain this lifestyle while having an addiction to alcohol. But that is not something that he was able to maintain, and that dysfunction went into joblessness, hardly getting out of bed, and shortly before his death, he was actually on the verge of being homeless.
All right. And he was addicted to more than just alcohol at the end, correct?
He smoked,
Mm-hmm.
and his previously it had always just been beer that he would drink to excess, but he went to wine and more hard alcohol.
All right. And then he ultimately went to the hospital, correct? Because he was going into having problems with his liver?
He did, but that actually wasn't by choice. Our dad had contacted him because some of our contact with him would be really on and off depending on what place he was in, or if we said something to him about his addiction and wanted him to get help, he would refuse to speak to us. But when he went into the hospital, I had actually went over to his house to try to talk to him about going to the hospital, and he was almost unconscious at that point, and I called an ambulance to have him taken to the hospital, where we ultimately found out he was in liver failure.
All right. So, looking back now, how do you feel about your experience with all of this?
Heartbreaking. I mean, I miss him like crazy. It's been almost 5 years since he passed away. He passed away at the age of 49, way too young,
Mm-hmm.
from a preventable disease. And so many wishes that things would have went different
Mm-hmm.
than they did.
I can imagine. So, after all this, do you have any regrets about how you did anything, how your family did anything?
We would say things to him sometimes throughout that about, hey, you need to get help. And he would really put us off or not want to talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was afraid of that confrontation with him. And looking back, I wish that I would have just dealt with that major
Mm-hmm.
confrontation, even if it would have meant that he would have never talked to me again for the
Right.
rest of my life. So, my biggest regret is that somehow we didn't actually find a way that we could have forced him
Right.
to seek help.
And looking at it now from a different perspective, my sister has had a severe eating disorder. She's battled with anorexia for a long time, and seeing how people really don't seem to sometimes willingly go into treatment and being able to confront them about the issue that they're having and getting them to the point where they can get help is really important.
Mm-hmm. Very important. Picking up on those early warning signs.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to others that would be in a situation similar to yours?
One, to follow your gut, and in the beginning, when you feel like something isn't right, you need to act on that, and you need to look at small changes in people's personality, because it is a big indicator of what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any other suggestions that would be helpful?
Seek out resources, and there are more resources out there than you think. that there are, talk to people, make a plan. If you can, surround yourself with other family members who also want to talk to that person or friends or whatever it is, and make a presence in that person's life. Don't just try to ignore it, because it's probably not going to get better. It's only going to get worse.
Is that all?
Yep, that's all.
Thank you for doing this with me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.